What is up? How is everyone doing today? How are you guys doing? I haven't been live in a couple days. It's been a couple days. Couple days. Work's been busy. Business is booming. Gotta do what you gotta do. How are you guys doing today? We're gonna talk about a little bit of Ravens stuff. We have a couple different subjects to touch on today. From the infamous Harbaugh quote talking about Derrick Henry not being brought to Baltimore to get 30 carries a game, to some Lamar stats, to some practice news, to who's returning, who's not returning. Lamar sat out of practice Monday, and it got a lot of people feeling some type of way about his usage. So we're going to get to all that and more today. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Thank you for spending time in here. We're going to get right into it. Starting with Sarah Ellison. Great creator on the Twitter space. Talks a lot about Ravens. Go follow her if you haven't already. She put out a tweet talking about John Harbaugh and everything he said regarding Derrick Henry and his usage in the game from Thursday night against the Chiefs. We rushed for 185 yards overall. That's a lot of that is Lamar, But that's the formula. The formula is all the guys together. It's not just one guy. We didn't bring Derrick Henry to be the guy that gets the ball 30 times a game. He's done that before, but that's not really the plan. The plan is Derrick, Lamar, Mark, Isaiah, Zay, Belly, Nelly, Nelly. I said Belly. That's the plan in this offense going forward. So I think that the evaluation of the run game will be best made over the course of the season. And I'm very confident that there's going to be games where Derrick Henry is going to go for 100 plus or more. And you're going to be asking me why Zay only got 2 catches. That's going to happen over the course of the season, and that's going to be good for us. That's what we want to be. We want to be unpredictable that way. Now, I put out a tweet when I first saw this, and the way that I looked at it is that we have a head coach that likes to put out a good amount of smoke screens. What do I mean by a smoke screen? He'll say one thing, but in reality, he knows that he doesn't really mean it. He knows that it's just setting up another team or being a competitive advantage, as most would say. John Harbaugh is notorious for wanting to have a competitive advantage against other teams. One of the ways he does that is in press conferences. He doesn't give away any type of injury information. He doesn't give away any type of inside information. Reason being is because over the course of time, even though it may not seem like much, it can add up to be a little bit of something. And in my opinion, that they saw the Raiders game and they saw how the Raiders defense played against the run, against the Chargers. And I know most of that came from about 3 or 4 big runs by J.K. Dobbins. But I think Derrick Henry is going to be utilized a good amount in the home opener, a very good amount. I think Derrick Henry will actually, and this is just my opinion once again, I think Derrick Henry is going to eclipse 100 yards of this game easily. Easily. I expect him to get over 20 carries. The Raiders' defense as a whole on paper looks very good, but they are a new unit. Not all of them. They still have Max Crosby, of course. But in general, talking about that football team, they are a new unit. And I expect Derrick Henry to get a good workload this week. Lamar, he missed the practice on Monday, which we're going to get to soon. But I expect them to utilize him a good amount, especially compared to the first game. We all know first drive, they went right down the field. Derrick Henry got a touchdown. Then we didn't really get to see much of Derrick Henry after that. I think it's going to be a lot different this next game. A lot different. And speaking of the usage of Lamar Jackson, the Ravens QB Lamar Jackson is a little bit sore, but is fully expected to be available for Sunday's matchup versus the Raiders. Lamar Jackson missed practice on Monday, and it had a little bit of people worried. Me, I wasn't worried. The man went crazy. Right now, he's 6th in passing yards with 273, 3rd in rushing yards with 122, and 1st in total yards with almost 400 in week 1 after not playing at all in the preseason. Obviously, training camp and all that stuff, it matters a lot. But still, with no preseason games played this year, preseason time at all, Lamar went out there in the first week of the season and put up an astounding almost 400 total yards. Now, I don't know if this is something that they want to keep consistent. I hope not. I don't want Lamar rushing for 122 yards a game. That's the complete opposite of what I want. I want Lamar to be around 60. I think 60 a game from Lamar would be good. He'll have his highs, he'll have his lows. We all know that it can depend on game plan. But at the end of the day, Lamar was basically just doing whatever he had to do to get out there on the field. And speaking of getting out there on the field, Lamar Jackson did, in fact, return to practice today. The Ravens put out a tweet talking about QBs working. Lamar, they posted a video of Lamar getting his workout in. He looks good. He looks good out there. I think that it's regular for players to miss practice, especially after that type of workload. I mean, shoot, you're doing all that, you're getting hit. It can get tough at times. So him missing practice on Monday, to me, it was nothing. As we see today, nothing. He went to practice perfectly fine. He had no problems whatsoever in practice today. Now, before this live stream, the Ravens, they went live around 3:30 and had a press conference. And basically, I took down everything, not everything, but most of the key things that they talked about regarding Lamar. So, first reporter, were you a little banged up on Monday? He said, no, I was good. I just took a day off. Simple as that. He just said he took a day off. He wasn't feeling any type of way. He just took the day off. Is running the ball 16 times, if you had to do it every week, is that sustainable, do you think? Lamar Jackson said, I don't know. I'm not trying to find out. We have Derrick Henry, Justice Hill, those guys. But I'm going to do everything it takes to win. In that type of game, you got to do what you got to do. And I fully agree. In a game of that magnitude against the team that beat you in the AFC Championship, I expect you to play a little bit off script. Now, I'm not saying go out there and try to hurdle 5 people, do this and that. But when it comes to playing a little better, getting a little extra push, when you're running to the sideline and you give someone a little bump, you know what I'm saying? You got to do it. It's a key game. It's a very important game. And I think a lot of people that are mad about Lamar doing that would also be mad if he didn't put in that extra effort in the game. You can't have it both ways. You want your quarterback to give all the effort he can in a game like that, or do you want him to just give half effort? We want to go out there and win a game. That's the whole point of playing. You want to go out there and win. So I have no problem, absolutely no problem with Lamar trying to do anything it takes to win in a game like this. Next question he was asked. There was a play you were near the boundary, and rather than going out of bounds, you lowered your shoulder and barreled into him. What goes through your mind at that moment? I'm just playing football. I didn't want to get hit going towards the sideline. I'd rather hit you before you hit me, and I completely agree. I mean, why not? Now, this was an interesting question. We talked all offseason about you losing weight. How did it feel out there for your first game? And I quote, I felt great. He said he felt great, with emphasis on great. I'm not going to lie to you. I believe someone was like, and he was quoting someone that he heard on the internet talking about him losing his weight. I don't like his weight. He lost weight, and I don't know how he'll look out there. But at the end of the day, I'm a grown man too, just like those guys. And I 100% agree. Lamar's rookie year, and even him in college, we can go all the way back to college when he had the most athleticism in the world. He was a different type of Lamar than we have saw these past 2 seasons. Lamar had to gain weight. And in my opinion, I think it's because he knew his contract talks. He wanted security. He didn't want to get hurt, which I completely agree with. You got to put on extra weight. If you're going for a contract, you don't want to get hurt as much. And even though he did get hurt, I think he realized it was a little bit too much. So we've had reports in the past couple seasons, Lamar got up to about 230, 235. And he didn't specify his weight today, but I'm about 99% sure he's sitting around 205, maybe even lower than that. Once you get into the season, get ramped up, that weight starts to fall off quick, very quick. Being out there in that sun all day, I think he's probably around 205, which for me, I think that's perfect for Lamar. He has his speed. He's still strong. He's not weak by any means. His balance is still amazing. That's something I don't think he'll ever lose. He's been playing really good. And I think he's at a really good weight right now, a very good weight right now. Aside from the press conference, let's get into some statistics from the game this past Thursday. Kyle Phoenix, another great reporter. Great reporter. Go follow him. Go follow him. Great, great, great content. Data courtesy of Zebra Technology. Rashad Bateman was given the lowest average cushion among all wide receivers in week 1 with 2.5 yards. While he was able to generate 3.1 yards of separation on his 5 targets, he only managed 2 catches. Preston Watson. Can I get a super dumbed down version, Kyle? Cornerbacks played closer to Bateman than any other wide receiver who saw 3 targets in week 1. Even with such close defenders, he managed to gain separation to an average of 3.1 yards. Now, I've been saying it for at least 2 years now. Really since the beginning of the 2021 season, I believe. I want to say 2021 season. Yeah. I've been wanting Rashad Bateman to get the ball a lot more. We see the potential day in and day out. We see it on film. He's always open. He finds the soft spots in defense. He knows how to roll off of certain coverages. I want them to look his way more. He was very, very open a lot last game. One play that comes to mind was he was on the right side of the field, and they targeted, I believe it was Zay Flowers on the left side on a deep out. If I remember right, I'll have to go back and look. But Bateman was wide open. He had beat whatever corner was on that number 35, Watson, for the Chiefs, completely beat him off the line of scrimmage and had it wide open downfield. Now, we can bring up the line. The line definitely played a part in some of those deeper routes. Lamar was getting hurried a lot to begin the game, so we didn't really get to see him sit in the pocket too much. Even on plays where he was able to sit in the pocket, we saw him scramble early, which I think on some plays he should hold the ball, but I mean, at the same time, you're getting hurried the whole entire game. You're going to make a move before you can. So I don't have any problem with it. I think that it's something that they'll see on tape. They'll go back to the drawing board, see what they can do different, see what they can do to get Bateman the ball more. It's simple as that. We saw Bateman make the big catch on the final drive of the game to set them up in the red zone. Now, we also saw Lamar say he targeted Bateman on the second to last throw of the game. I looked over the play a lot. I watched it a lot. Still, I don't think it was a good pass. I don't think it was a good route by Bateman either. I think that Lamar was eyeing Bateman down a decent amount on that last route. So you just have to go back to the drawing board. Those are plays that you wish you could get back, of course, along with the Isaiah Likely going deep to the top left pylon. Plays you want to get back, but you just go to the drawing board. You figure it out. You see what you can do different next time. Also from Kyle Phoenix, Likely picked up plus 28 yards after contact over expected on his 49-yard touchdown. Most of any tight end on a single play in week 1. Likely averaged 9.4 targeted air yards, highest among tight ends. He also posted an average of 5 yards of separation, 3rd highest among tight ends, 4th among all receivers. I don't know how many of you were in here whenever I was live streaming the second half of that game. But still, I think Isaiah Likely is clearly tight end 1 in this offense. I know Mark Andrews is still here. And even going back in the game and watching the All-22, Mark Andrews didn't play bad by any means. He actually played very solid. He was a solid blocker. He was running very good routes. The ball just didn't go his way. The only bad play I can really remember from Mark Andrews is, of course, the 3rd and 3 short out route to the right side of the field where he just fell down early. I think that was just mental collapse by Mark. We saw him run that route plenty of times, get the first down and just sit on the marker, but I think he just didn't know where he was on the field. I think he thought he had the first down. He clearly didn't. But, I mean, after not playing for pretty much the whole second half of the season last year, and this is pretty much your first game. I know he played in the AFC Championship this past season. But still, Mark Andrews is still going to be Mark Andrews. He's going to get ramped up good. I see a lot of people talking about trading Mark Andrews, this and that. Don't do it. Don't entertain that talk. Even me, I think about it sometimes, but at the end of the day, you cannot get rid of someone like Mark Andrews. One, you need depth at every position, and there's not a single position on this Ravens roster where they have as good a depth at tight end. They have everyone from Isaiah Likely to Mark Andrews to Charlie Kolar, even what's his name on the practice squad? I cannot think of his name right now. Kadir. They have him on the practice squad. So that room is completely stacked. I wouldn't get rid of one of those pieces just for draft picks or another player or something like that. Mark Andrews, he's a very big part of this team. Mark Andrews, he's one of the biggest leaders. He might be one of the top 5 leaders on this team. Everybody looks to Mark Andrews. They love Mark. The fans love Mark. It wouldn't make any sense to trade him, in my opinion. Not at all. Now, coming up this week on Sunday, the Baltimore Ravens are playing against the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, don't mind the top middle. I don't know, 28-28. I don't know what that's about. But everybody thinks the Ravens are going to win, as I do too. I think the Ravens are going to get a very convincing win over the Raiders. I'm going to put out some props. I know we hit 3 out of 4 props from last week, so we're going to put some more betting props out there before the game on Saturday for our pregame. But I don't see them scoring over 17 points. I know some people have 20, 28. I don't see them getting over 13, 17 points. And to be quite honest, I don't know if they'll get 10. Our defense, they had a couple really bad mental collapses this past week. But if we're being completely honest, aside from a blown coverage by what we found out to be Kyle Hamilton in the presser today, Kyle Hamilton mentioned that it was him. He was supposed to be playing a deep blue. I'm playing Madden too much. He was in a deep cover 2 zone, and it was a collapse. It was his fault. A lot of people blame Marlon Humphrey. It was on Kyle Hamilton. But those are things that you can get fixed. You'll get those worked out quick. We saw last year against the Dolphins, the fourth quarter comeback that they had, going over top, a bunch of blown coverages. We saw it a lot with Mike McDonald's defense starting out last season. I think we all expected the same thing out of Zach Orr. We didn't expect everyone to be in tip-top shape, knowing everything to start off the year, have the best chemistry. We didn't expect that. It's a whole new system. Even though they're running kind of the same system, it is different at the end of the day. I expect a lot of that stuff to be worked on throughout the week. I mean, who knows? They could have another blown coverage here and there, whatever. But I don't think it'll be nearly as bad as last week. I don't think they'll have Malik Harrison guarding any slot receiver at all. I don't think they should have Malik Harrison in coverage at all. That's just me being me. But in my opinion, I think that was completely uncalled for to have him guarding Rashee Rice on all those plays. I don't even think he should be lined up at middle linebacker. He's a DN. I watched that man at Ohio State. He was a linebacker. He's not what he was at Ohio State. You better put him near the line of scrimmage because he needs to rush the passer. I expect them to have Trenton Simpson in there a lot more this week. Trenton Simpson is just an amazing, amazing, amazing football player. The things that he's shown on tape, the ability to cover, to gain ground, to tackle, to rush the passer, he's an amazing football player. We saw him on the last Kansas City drive. He jumped up, tipped the ball. Even though Patrick Mahomes caught it, he was still able to get off one foot, off balance, jump in the air, and tip that pass up. I expect them to use a lot more Trenton Simpson at middle linebacker. A lot more, hopefully. And to finish off the live stream, one of my favorite football players. One of my favorite. I'm an Ohio State fan too. I know I'm a Ravens fan, but I'm also an Ohio State fan. Way bigger Ravens fan. But our guy, JK. Have a day, J.K. Dobbins. 10 rushes for 135 yards, a touchdown, almost 23 fantasy points. I wish it could have worked out. I wish it could have worked out for us. I wish J.K. could have been healthy, man. I remember the day that we drafted him. I didn't know how he fell to the second round. Being an Ohio State fan and seeing the type of impact he had at Ohio State, I had no idea how he fell to the second round. But he did. And unfortunately, he suffered some bad injuries with us. You got to live with it. You live with it. But I'm happy, man. I hope a lot of other people are happy to see it too. I hope no one's preying on his downfall or anything like that. That man, JK, he's a great football player. One of the best personalities, a great teammate. Just a great dude overall. You love to see people come back from the type of injuries that they have, especially last year being the first game of the season when he got injured. Being able to do this in the first game of the season this year, man, there's nothing like it. Shout out to JK. Great player, one of my favorites. Great player, man. But that's all we got for today. I know it was a short stream. Hopefully we could have a longer stream tomorrow. I've been working hard, guys. I've been working hard. Personal trainer, running my own business, trying to bring up the media content aside with the Ravens and everything like that. I'm trying, but I appreciate all you guys. We had like 170 people in here watching the live stream on Thursday night. A lot of you guys have been showing a bunch of support through the channel and everything like that. So I really appreciate it. I appreciate every single one of you guys. If you can, y'all see it at the bottom. Go to the YouTube, Stone_2X. Subscribe on there. I'm going to start trying to get some videos out. I've been going live on here. I feel like it's easier. I can reach a lot more people. But I'm going to start building up the YouTube channel here soon. I'm going to slowly transition this over to YouTube. But I appreciate all you guys. Thank you. Thank you very much for even having the thought to come through here, spend some time in here. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Y'all have a blessed day. Have a great day. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Peace.